Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
This is Matt from The Razor's Edge. I'm here speaking to Jesse from which ArcTanGent. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
We woke up early to get here on time, and we made it.
you come all the way from Seattle. You guys are from.
Yes.
What's doom metal like in Seattle? It's obviously got a name for grunge and alternative, but for slow, crushing doom metal, what's the community like?
I think like probably everywhere in the world, relatively small.
Right.
But supportive. You know, I think that the Seattle music scene at large is actually really cool. It's always been super eclectic and diverse. It's a little bit tough of a city to play now.
Right.
Things are changing. Like more and more venues are shutting down, so it's becoming a bit harder across the board for bands to play there, which I think is also happening all over the place.
It's affecting us as well, for sure.
Yeah. So, but all in all, there's definitely some really, really cool bands, and there always have been, coming out of specifically the Northwest, you know, like Seattle, Portland, Olympia, whatever else.
Of course. As you mentioned a minute ago off tape, you've played a few festivals this summer so far. How do the crowds tend to react to quite slow doom?
I think that the best way that we usually gauge the audience is how quiet they are during the quiet parts of the set.
Right, okay.
And honestly, the response has been amazing this whole tour. It's been really, really cool because this has been our first proper Bellwitch tour since before the pandemic in Europe.
Yeah. You were focusing on Stygian both for a little while, weren't you?
Yeah, because the record came out during the pandemic, so we never were able to play. So we did that, you know, most of last year, and then now the
So it's because of the pandemic that you're back doing Bellwitch, really?
Well, that kind of, I guess it halted the progression of what we were doing. But I think the plan is that we will be focusing on both projects.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So the new album is Future Shadow Part 1, Clandestine Gates, about an hour and a half long. What were you hoping to achieve from this album cycle?
From this album cycle?
Yeah.
Really just building on what we've already started. I think that you know, Mirror Reaper set a precedent in our as this lineup, you know, of sort of what we were capable of and what we wanted to do. And I think that the goal with the Clandestine Gate, as being a part one of a 3-part triptych, is that it was a way for us to really sort of delve into that long form creative process, being less limited by, you know, let's say 2 vinyl LPs, and basically like really, really dig into the songwriting and also just whether it's lyrically, whether it's the movements in the music itself, as well as the visual presentation. I think that our goal has really been to just like step it up a notch. We've changed our setup. Dylan added another string on the bass. I've got another whole synth rack. We got visuals accompanying everything, so it's been really cool.
How much of what you guys do on record or on stage is improvised? Is there an element of freedom in performance?
None.
Oh, really?
I would say that it's all very. I think that the tempo can waver. There was a really interesting thing that happened on some of the Mirror Reaper tours, where we realized that we had settled into 2 different set lengths, but it would always happen between one or the other.
Right. Okay.
One was about 5 minutes longer than the other one. So for whatever reason, some nights it would slow down, but almost identically. And then other nights it would be a little bit faster, almost identically.
Yeah.
But I think that he and I, there's absolutely no jamming happening ever. Honestly, even when we're writing, we'll mess around, but we try to be really intentional about what we're doing.
Okay, that's interesting. I like how you've you've stuck to your guns, and like this album is one of 3. It's the long album, but it's not even the finished products, because we've got 2 more to go. And I say that in an age where in the wider music industry there seems to be a trend of lower attention spans, and some bands releasing singles and EPs. I guess that wouldn't really work for what Bellwitch does.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
obviously because of the climate in the music industry, the discussion has come up in regards to splitting, the record up, or records up. It's a kind of never-ending conversation. We have decided thus far, and I believe it's the correct decision, to keep it as it should be listened to. My biggest qualm with the idea of splitting it up into movements has nothing to do with if someone was listening to it sort of in a row or wanted to split it up, but I don't particularly love the idea of a random section of the song showing up on a playlist completely out of context. I think that what we're doing is different than that. It's meant to be sort of absorbed when the listener wants to and is ready. I don't really know that as a music listener myself, that I would want to hear like a really long song cut into a 10-minute chunk and then have that pop up on some random playlist. I feel like it would cheapen the experience.
Well, like, I don't know, I've seen Sleep a few times, and when they play a section of Dope Smoke, it kind of makes sense, but I wouldn't want that on my playlist. I would want the whole thing.
And so, for example, and we're obviously limited by, let's say at a big festival like ArcTanGent, we don't get to play the whole thing.
No.
So we have to play section.
Yeah.
But I think live, it translates differently, and also we're going to be playing a larger section. You're not going to see a 40 or 50 minute chunk show up on a playlist.
No.
You'll see a 10-minute chunk or an 8-minute chunk, and then at that point, that could be 2 rotations of a riff for us.
I love that. This is why I love doom metal. It's just so lumbering and expansive. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Who else are you looking forward to seeing today?
I mean, it's Murphy's Law for me. I really, really wanted to see Swans. I've never seen Swans. They play right after we play.
Right, okay.
So the chances of that are slim to none.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best.
Yeah.
That's the one band that I've had my eye on. Unfortunately for us, we don't really get to see bands at festivals.
Of course. No, I know what it's like. I just wanted to thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can go catch some bands. But yeah.
Of course.
Thank you, Jesse. This has been Bellwitch at ArcTanGent for the Racer's Edge.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.